We're going to go into Manage Products. This is the entire catalog. 604 pages here, but I think on your end it's probably a lot more than this. Yeah, I think it's a higher number. I think for the demo it's smaller. But what you can do here, products that are already listed here, unless you need special exceptions where you need products pulled for one reason or another, or because you yourself are fulfilling the product, in which case, we need to know about that so we can get that to complete. Because how this will work is anything that is in this database, or I should say, in the complete catalog, that's part of the automatically updated, for lack of a more complicated term, I'm just going to say it's like a big Excel spreadsheet that contains all the products and inventories, etc., and is updated constantly. You don't want to come in here and change anything with any of these products, because if you do, as soon as the system auto updates, it'll override your changes. So the only exception to the rules is your across the board price or percentage markup. That we'll leave alone, or mark down, but it would be a markup if you were. There's a standard base markup that is placed on the entire catalog across the board. If you decide you want to raise that, that is possible. And whatever you set it at, it won't be overridden. But for the most part, you don't want to change or alter any of these products. And if you have a different variation of a product, that's okay. You can copy the information over. You just have to give it a unique SKU. Anything with the complete catalog SKUs will be overridden. Again, except for the across-the-board markup, and if you do special pricing. And I'll show you special pricing. Let's go to the Swedo ankle, lock with stabilizers. Okay. This section here, you have your price up here. You may want to run a special price for that particular product for a certain date range. You can arrange to do that right here. So let's say you want a sale on just this product. This is the easiest way to go about doing it. You put in your special price, you put in your special pricing date, and whenever you make changes to any section, you always have to remember these orange buttons over here. You either have to save or save and continue. If you forget to click save or save and continue, and you leave any particular page before you saved or saved and continued, you'll lose any changes that you made and you'll have to start over. I also mentioned about a product that's similar to one that's already in the system that you may want to add. And I told you about duplicating or cloning. You can duplicate right here. Okay. The find feed. Welcome, Michael. The find feed. Some of you may be familiar with the find feed. Some of you may not be familiar. Magento's backend does interface with the find feed. That's something completely separate that you could go out and do on your own. They are a they're a marketing tool, marketing business. They help you get your products out on the web so people are aware that you're selling a particular product. I guess I would put them almost in the same category as similar to a company like NextTag. I don't know if any of you are familiar with NextTag, but there's practically everything on NextTag. Sometimes when I'm looking for a good electronics deal and I'm not finding, what I want from Newegg or Meritline or Circuit City Online or one of those. Sometimes I'll go to NextTag and I'll put in the description and it'll pull up quite a few sites, but it usually will find pretty low prices for me. And how those vendors are able to get their products featured is because they sign up with their with their marketing site, and they get more exposure that way. The find feed is very similar to that in respects that you get an account with them. It pulls data from your website and it puts it out on the net through the find feed. And you'll see the find feed if you really look and you browse around online. You'll see their name everywhere. They're becoming more and more popular. But yeah, in the find feed, this is where you put in your codes and things. So that's something completely separate. Again, that's not really part of this tutorial, but I just want to let you know that it is included in the back end of Magento. So if it was something that you want to go out and sign up with the find feed, and you tell them you're using Magento, they'll already know. The Manage Category section is another section we're going to skip over, other than to say if you're adding an entire category of products that are not part of the complete, which again is not part of our setup, we will help you do that. It is an additional fee, but it is available to you. If you want to manage it entirely on your own and you're confident enough to create your own categories, that is entirely up to you. The system is very flexible. It will allow you to create additional categories. I will show you in this section what I mean. You will see the root category tree, which is the default category, and now you see all the categories that make up the complete catalog. You can actually add more categories by adding another, either a root category or a subcategory. It does have a WYSIWYG editor for you to put in your descriptions, has areas for your meta description and keywords. You can include it in the navigation menu, display settings. This is a little bit of what I call heavy lifting, but it is available if you do want to add products to your front end. Again, it is not part of our basic setup and is not really part of this tutorial, but I just want to show you that the ability and the functionality is there. You also have the ability to manage attributes. Again, that's outside of our basic tutorial. To show you that screen, I would strongly recommend not to alter the attributes area in any way, shape, or form unless at some point you've created your own categories and you need other attributes. Okay, URL rewrite management. Purpose of this section, some of you may be familiar with URL rewrites. Essentially, it's taking one path and pointing it to another. That's all that this section is about. Somebody's looking for this. This is the path that they put in. This is the path it's going to take them to. One of the basic purposes of having this available to you is if you restructure your site and certain pages move, you still want the person that is coming to your site, especially if they have favorites or pages saved, you want them directed to the correct page. So you would click up here to add your URL rewrite. You would put in your requested and target path and you would save. You probably won't be really using this section, not for a long time. Okay, it looks like somebody has a question. I was going to ask, but I'll stop. Let's see. Gilbert wants to know, can repair services be added to front end as products can? Yes, actually, they can. I'm just going to jump backwards just for a second. If you look here under type, and you add a product, there's a type of product. Excuse me. Sorry. There's a type of product called, where is it? Virtual product. It's not tangible per se. Services could fall under a virtual product. It also has a section, a type down here called downloadable. So some of our customers have, or I should say clients, have expressed the desire to maybe provide user manuals or software, in which case that would be a downloadable product. As far as service, that would probably fall under virtual product because it's not tangible per se. It's not an actual product. It's a service, but absolutely you can add those services to the front end. That is not part of the setup with our business, but we can assist you with that for an additional fee. I would just have you reference the price list that I believe all of you have received, but if you haven't, at the end of this tutorial, please by all means send me an email and I'll be happy to get one of those out to you. Search terms. There's a basic search engine built into the back end and shown on the front end of a Magento site. It allows you to search for products relating to your site, whatever's within the catalog tables of your Magento site. Problem is, it is not Google. And I wouldn't necessarily call that a problem, but a lot of people take some of the features of Google for granted. We don't even realize that they're outside the scope of normal search. And it's a predictive search, I guess you could say, or a corrective search. We've all typed something into Google, and we all at one point in time, even English majors, have made a spelling mistake. Google immediately says, "Did you mean?" And then it has the words. This won't do that. However, if it's close enough, it will pull up listings that closely match what their query was. Now, if there's something in particular you notice let's say on your dashboard, one of the search terms, one of the top 5 search terms or something that you notice is spelled incorrectly, you may want to come here and put in what they're looking for and what it actually should be pointing to. Search query, that's what they're looking for. You could put a synonym here, and you can put a redirect here. And you can you can tell it to display in suggested terms. So it tries to match, but it's still not the same as, I guess you could say, Google in that respect. It works well though. Please remember, when you are making changes, and I'll repeat this several more times through this tutorial, when you're making changes, adding something to the system, adding a new customer, adding a new order, please make sure you save, because I don't want you to lose your data. Oh, Carol has a question. I see it in this section you have bundles. Is this where we can manage groups of products we want to sell together? there's two ways I can answer that. On the complete side, no, you don't want to do that because they would already have bundles that were established in their catalog. In other words, if there was a kit, for instance, and somebody ordered a kit, it should automatically order all of the subproducts that make up that kit. Now, if you are selling your own product outside the complete catalog that comes as a kit, then yes, you can manage, yes, you can manage groups of products that you want to sell together. Reviews and ratings. I've kind of always felt, I guess it would be considered under catalog because it's pointing to products. Reviews and ratings is a feature that you can have turned on or turned off on the back end. By default, it should be turned off in your system. At least I've asked them to turn it off until you've decided if you want to have it turned on. And what that is somebody comes to your site. You've seen it on other sites before. They look at a product. They say, oh, I have that product. I bought that product. I liked it. I want to write about it. They would be afforded the opportunity to write a review on that product. They could also give it a rating, you know, it was this good, it was that good, et cetera, et cetera. I'll show you what I mean. Here's ratings. Right now, it's a 3-point system. You can make it a 4-point, 5-point, 10-point, whatever you feel is appropriate, if any. It's not a required field. You can turn it on and off. And if you want to add more ratings, you just add a new rating and make sure you save. You give it an ID, you give it a name. Reviews. So this is exactly why the system is set up. It will not automatically place reviews, and I know this is a question that's probably in your minds. If somebody writes a review, is it immediately going to show on if I turn this feature on and somebody writes a review, is it going to show up on my front end? Now, you have to approve the review first before it will show up on your front end. This is for many reasons, and you can think of some of them in your head. For instance, somebody may use profanity, and you can't have that on your front end. Or maybe somebody is given something an unfairly deserved review. We'll say somebody went a little above and beyond expressing their displeasure to a particular product, and perhaps you don't want to include that review, or maybe you want to make some minor edits to make it more palatable for whoever's reading it. Having that said, one thing that you may not even consider, but this is our demo site, and this is the back-end demo that I'm showing all of you. And what you can see here is we have a spammer. This spammer came in and they wrote a review. Now, clearly, a Chanel handbag doesn't belong here. They gave it a review. They even had the nerve to put in a URL link within the review. This could happen to you because these spammers have bots that aggregate different sites. It's not a personal attack on your site because, you know, they go to your front end, they look at something, they want to review it. They're a spammer. They can put it in the review, but it will not appear until you've approved it. So you see something like this and you go, ha ha ha, never going to get to my site, and you click delete, you confirm the deletion, and the review is gone. It looks like we have a ton of them here. Interesting. Payday loans. How very sad. So unfortunately, when you come to pending reviews, you may see a whole list of things like this, and you say, that's not real, that's not real. You gloss over it, and just like when you're looking at your spam in Gmail, you can just select all, Yeah, these all look like spam actually. Select all, and then you can take the action of deleting and then hit submit. Are you sure? Okay. And they're gone. I never considered spammers would actually try to use the review and rating system to push their products, but apparently they try. So yet another reason why we have the safety precaution of not auto-posting reviews. They have to be approved by you first. Tags work the same way. I'm sure you're all familiar with tags. If not, tags just allow you to use a keyword uh, for products that may help a person find that product better by using those keywords. Um, there's many reasons why you may want to turn tags on. There's maybe equal amount of reasons why you want to keep them off. And some people don't want to deal with tags because there is some maintenance that goes along with it. Just as you saw me go into the review section and I had to go in there and delete all those reviews, that's considered maintenance. And if there were real ones that were pending, I'd have to read them and decide if I wanted to keep them or not. In this section, people may submit tags for products, which can be a tool, a very good tool for selling those products. It helps the customer get to what they're looking for faster if you have appropriate tags and you have many of them for a particular product. Certain products may only have a finite amount of tags, but rather than you going through every product and putting in what you think is a good tag, you're crowdsourcing the task and you're allowing your customers to do it for you. So they're saving you a lot of time and effort. However, again, it requires some maintenance because there's going to be some tags that are inappropriate. Some people may throw, profanity in there. All these things you'd have to review before they're actually approved. For those of you that are completely uninterested in either the tags or the reviews, there are no worries because this should be turned off by default. And if it is on for some reason, you can most certainly turn it off, and at least you never have to worry about anything getting through without your approval. I just wanted to stress that. Some people see tags and reviews and ratings and they panic and they say, I don't want that, and others do want it. So it's there if you're so inclined. Okay. We don't go over Google Sitemap in this tutorial. It is available in the back end of Magento if you are interested.